Hey everyone, I'm Kevin with Victory 4x4. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to install our bedside MOLLE panel in this 2022 Toyota Tundra. So to begin, we're going to be installing the upper mounting brackets. These will go in place here behind the factory bed rail. You're going to be installing one behind each of these two front mounting bolts here and the two rear mounting bolts back here. For these, you're going to need a T30 Torx socket. You will have to at least loosen this one here in the center as well, just to allow this to come out enough for the brackets to slide in place behind. So then once you have that loose and the fasteners out of the way, you can simply pull out lightly and slide the bracket in place behind the rail. And then lining up the slot, you can reinstall the factory fastener. You want to leave those just a little bit loose until you get all four mounting brackets installed. Once you have all four of these brackets loosely in place, you just want to make sure to push them up tight to the bottom of this factory rail and then tighten those factory fasteners back in place. Now that we have the brackets tight up here, we can begin assembling the MOLLE panel. Now the rear section is pretty self-explanatory. This larger drop-down portion is going to go back toward the rear of the vehicle and down to fill this space. This front section is just a little bit harder to tell what goes where, so you're going to be looking for these two small mounting slots here. Those are going to be the top and front of the panel section. So once you've identified that, you can take the two halves and kind of start lining them up here with these three center mounting holes, and then using the provided 5/16 button head bolts and flange locking nuts, you can begin assembling the panel. Once you have those in place, just get them kind of as tight as you can by hand. That'll give you just a little bit of flexibility and adjustment as you get this installed here on the bedside. So now you can take this, grab four more of these 5/16 button heads and nuts, and we'll get this started over here. So as you get this installed here on the side, you just want to make sure the bottom edge of the panel is dropped down and not sitting up on this kind of bed rail here. And then you can start lining up the top mounting slots to your brackets and installing your button head hardware. Get all of these started by hand, leaving them loose until they're all in place, and then we'll work on tightening things down. So with all the hardware started up top, now you just need to work on positioning the panel a little bit. So for this, I'm just kind of going to lift it up and start kind of leveling it out so it's parallel to the bottom edge of this factory bed rail, and then begin tightening this up with a 3/16 hex socket. After you have the top mounting hardware tight and you're happy with the placement of the panel, don't forget to come back and tighten the three panel mounting bolts here. These will use that same 3/16 socket. And then we can work on our lower mounting. So the way we're going to mount the bottom section of the panel here at the back end is using these two round mounting holes along the bottom edge. For that, you're going to need a 5/16 drill bit. And then using these holes as a guide, you are going to drill two small holes in the side of the bed here through to that cavity kind of between the inner bed structure and the outer bed side. Once you have those drilled, you'll place two of these provided spacers, one behind each hole, and then install a 5/16 button head bolt and flange locking nut, which you may just need the help of a friend to reach underneath and hold that nut in place while you tighten everything up. Again, at this point, the panel's all tight. I've got my drill bit. I'm just going to kind of put a little pressure on the panel and then go ahead and slowly drill these holes. Now, we did look back behind there before we got this all set up and drilled these holes. There shouldn't be any wire harness or anything like that that you're going to run into. But as always, go ahead and get down there and take a look on your specific truck before you drill these. Then once you have those drilled, go ahead and clean up any dust or debris left over, and then slide your spacer in behind the MOLLE panel mounting hole, and then take the longer 5/16 button head, line that up and push it through the hole, then do the same thing back here at this mounting location. So then once those are pushed in, you just need to get the flange locking nuts on the back side. Those are kind of held in fairly tight the way they sit right now. You may need the help of a friend if you get down there and you're trying to thread these nuts on and you just wind up pushing the bolts back out. Then after you get the nuts on the back side of those, you're just going to need that same 3/16 hex to tighten these up and complete your install. Now if you guys have any questions about this installation or any other Victory 4x4 product, feel free to reach out to us. You can send us an email at info@victory4x4.com or give us a phone call at 269-459-8447.